Angry guy here, and women hate that they cannot live without men. Women hate that they cannot live without men. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
If you're out there don't make as much as she does or more than her, then you're gonna have to get left behind, because modern women nowadays who have a paycheck, they don't date down. Let's get into this.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do.
Wait, why does it even matter if the man makes just as much as the woman or even more than her? Yes, of course it is important that a man is ambitious and competitive instead of being a couch potato, but you have all these career-focused women who are in their mid or even in their late 30s who think that whatever they have achieved in their life is important to the man that they want to be with. They are like, I set a standard for myself, and if the man that I want to be with in the future doesn't at least meet those standards or is higher than that, then I don't want to deal with them. Why does it even matter?
They do. A study by Cornell University found that the country's declining marriage rate is due to the lack of financially eligible bachelors.
Lack of financially eligible bachelors, meaning they don't make enough money for these women who are highly educated. But here is the issue though. Why do a lot of these modern women nowadays believe that the financial aspect of a man is the only thing that matters in order for them to respect that man? I'll tell you why. Because money is the only thing they accept and respect when it comes to a man. They don't want to hear all of that. You got to be submissive to your husband. You have to follow his lead. They don't want to hear none of that. They don't want to hear the truth from a man that a lot of women nowadays really don't want to deal with. They don't like men to tell them the truth. They don't like men to give them correctional guidance, what I like to call when a man is telling them about themselves. Men can be out here actually telling you women how to become better partners, because who will be able to tell you better of your performance in a relationship than the man that you are with? But these women don't want to take that advice. Too many women are impressed with their achievements, which is a good thing. You should always be proud of what you are doing, but you should also know if that means anything to the next person or not, because no high value man or even no average man is really going to care about your achievements. Yes, of course, you have to be educated, you have to be ambitious, you have to be goal oriented. I'm with you on that, but don't think that it really matters to a man, because it doesn't. Especially these career-focused women nowadays who are, like I said in the beginning, in their mid or even late 30s. Many of them even have children from other men. But a man is not looking at that. A man is focusing on your looks. A man cares about who you are. A man cares about your femininity. He does not give two flying F's about what you own, what you have, because what you have, he possibly has, or he can get if he's an ambitious man. So you women out there are really just delusional with your mindset. A lot of women nowadays are looking for a roommate, especially when they're bringing home a good paycheck, because they think that in a relationship, it is 50-50. Yes, you may think that works, but I'm a true believer of the duties of a woman are always going to be the duties of a woman. So even if you both working, even if you as a woman are making more money than your man, you are the one who has to take care of the household duties. You have to be the one cooking, cleaning, tidying up, food shopping and all of that. It is your duty.
Here's the interesting thing about that. Regardless of what anyone says, even if a woman makes more money than the man, it doesn't matter, because her money is her money and his money is her money. So he will always be spending his money to cover the bills in the house. He will be the one covering the rent. He will be the one covering the utilities. He will be the one covering the food expenses, while this woman will sit around saying that she is equal in the relationship. She is bringing equality to the relationship as a result of the amount of money she earns, when in reality, her money is her money. She's spending her money on whatever she chooses to. If she chooses to use that money in the relationship, that's her choice. But ultimately, the responsibility will always fall on the man to cover the bulk of the expenses in the relationship. Again, his money is her money and her money is her money. That's the honest truth, and that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it will always be.
Because that's what we are supposed to do as women. I need to go back to that one statement: lack of financially eligible bachelors. I mean, why are there no studies that show us the lack of femininity in some women? Why are we never talking about that? If any of you guys out there, or even ladies, knows any studies like this, please leave it in the comment section below so I can look that up, because I could not find anything. Let's talk about the lack of femininity that a lot of modern women nowadays develop because they fall for the false narrative of the modern feminism as far as becoming the strong and independent woman. Let's just name a few. They don't know how to be objective. They don't know how to control their emotions. They are way too loud, way too masculine, way too disrespectful, with a way too foul mouth. They don't know how to dress accordingly. They don't know how to respect the man. They don't remember to prioritize family. They all put their careers over their family. They believe submitting to a man is a weakness. A weakness. I honestly think that a lot of women don't even know what it means to submit to a man. It does not mean you have to bow down every single day and kiss the man's feet. I mean, you even have women who say that a man has to earn my femininity. Sweetheart, if you know how to turn your femininity on and off like a light, please tell me how you do it, because in my opinion, you either are feminine or you are not. You can be married to the wealthiest guy on this planet and still be very masculine if you just don't have no femininity in you. Or you can be somewhere in the village of Indonesia where your man really just doesn't have much more than bamboo sticks. No offense, but I'm just trying to compare something here. You can be as feminine as ever because you were raised to be feminine because of the traditional values that you have been taught as you were growing up. So many women are saying, I need my man to be high value because I need to maintain my lifestyle. Well, let me ask you this, modern woman. Is having a child or two with a man that you are not married to something that a high value woman would do?
Women are actually outpacing men with education, and this is changing the age-old mentality that men are the breadwinners. In turn, the gig or small gigs economy and lack of good jobs out there have left the ladies single and disgruntled. And researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means...
Excuse me, I don't even think that is true. I believe that many of these career women's requirements and their delusional attitude and their action is what's keeping them single. I mean, here's the thing about it. Why is it the man's fault if the woman decides to get out there, get educated, and get a degree or two, make all of this money, which is cool? But why is the man not good enough anymore? And why is it hard for these women to actually get the man that they want? A lot of these ladies, they don't want that blue-collar job working man. They don't want that man who built the house that they are sitting in, talking about that they don't want that type of man, that they're sick and tired of dating down. These women, they don't want the man who's doing the inspection on their car. They don't even want the man who put together the tiny pieces of electronics in their cell phones that they are taking selfies with all day long. You know what? Here's a reminder to everybody out there. Blue-collar job working men have built the world, and they are still building the world. And all of these white-collar job working men that all of these women want, they are not checking for women who are in their mid-30s, in their late 30s, probably developing some hormonal issues. They're not checking for you, ladies. That's why a lot of you are still single today. I'm sorry to tell you the truth, and I know you're not going to like this, but who will tell you the truth if I don't? A high-value man who makes six figures is not checking for a wife and is not going to wife a woman who is not manageable and who is not wifeable. You can't even take a lot of these women nowadays to a simple company dinner because they just don't know how to dress. All they care about is their looks, how they look, how they're going to appear on social media, and it doesn't matter how old they are. They don't even care how they look to the public as long as they look good to themselves. I'm sorry, ladies. Men, high-value men especially, they're not looking for you. A lot of you even got being fat confused with being thick.
I really love how she put that. So a lot of women are confusing, unfortunately, the delusion of morbid obesity and believing that that's actually a trait that relates to being thick and what's the term? Bodacious. You know, I remember seeing a picture of a woman who was roughly around 500 pounds posing in lingerie. And she was saying she got teased in high school, but now look at her and all the boys want this. And of course, there were a number of simps that were commenting on her picture and saying how beautiful she is and how wonderful she is. And I'm thinking to myself, if you were to reverse this, if you were to take a man who was 500 pounds and he was saying, now look at me, all the girls want this, and look at what they're missing, people would say, oh my gosh, that's just terrible. I am absolutely disgusted with this. You see, women can basically get away with anything. I said this many years ago that you're going to literally have a scenario where a woman was going to poop and everyone was going to clap. And that actually happened. The movie came out with Melissa McCarthy. And in the movie, she poops in a sink in front of others. And it is absolutely celebrated by the feminists, calling it gross out feminism and normalizing women's bodily functions, as though this was supposed to be a pivotal and wonderful moment for women. This is something that we need to consider. Women are basically pushing to see how far they can take things. And when men stand up to them, they then turn around and claim to be victims, but not just normal victims, powerful victims. So that's their way out of everything. But that is changing around us because men are no longer tolerating it. Men with any sense of self are walking away from Western society, relationships in Western society, going overseas, starting new lives, finding happiness, finding their peace, and not putting up with the nonsense that they are facing in Western society anymore. The truth that a lot of women don't want to accept, the truth that a lot of women do not want to live with, is that women hate that they cannot live without men. They cannot survive without us. Without men, the sky falls in. Everything ends around them. Like Soraya pointed out, they don't want those blue collar men that make the computer chips, the semiconductors that make it possible so that I can talk to you right now, so that they can use their iPhones, so that they can travel and do all the nonsense that they do. They don't want the man who is the chemist that develops the compounds so that they can have their lipstick and different shades of lipstick and makeup and all these other things. They don't want the guy who delivers packages for UPS, even though this guy makes $170,000 a year. They don't want the guy who builds the house, even though this guy can build a house or even builds the house that they are presently living in. They want Chad, they want Tyrone, they want Ray, Pookie, Enrique. Those are the men that they love. And then the men that they will simply accept are the guys who have to make above six figures, in many cases be millionaires, and allow them to live soft lives in luxury when they're now in their late 30s or even 40s or older, and they bring nothing to the relationship but want to take everything from the man. What do you guys think regarding everything we discussed here today? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, so let's talk about them more there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.